Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going on a journey into the wild, vast, and frankly, pretty weird world of biology. And as you're about to see, life pops up in the most unexpected places you can imagine. We're talking boiling acid and even inside your own nose. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so first up, picture a hot spring in Yellowstone. The water there can be as hot and acidic as scorching vinegar. I mean, it sounds like a recipe for, well, nothing, right? And yet, it's absolutely packed with microscopic life, just doing its thing. So from boiling hot, let's swing to the complete opposite, ancient, deep-frozen ice. Biologists have drilled down into Antarctic ice and found living things that have been trapped there for thousands of years. They're basically just paused, waiting for things to warm up so they can get back to business. Incredible. Now, let's bring this whole idea a lot closer to home. Like, really close. Right this second, inside your nose, there is an entire bustling ecosystem of bacteria and fungi living their best lives. So you see, life isn't just out there in some far-off place. It's on us, it's in us, it is literally everywhere. And that amazing fact that life is everywhere, from the tiniest microbe to the biggest whale, brings us to our first really big idea. Scientists have a word for this, the biosphere. It's the grand total of all living things and every single place they're found. But here's the really cool part. It's all connected. The moss growing on a tree in a forest and the strange creatures near a volcanic vent at the bottom of the ocean, they are all, in a way, part of the same gigantic, interconnected system. And that system includes, everything. We're talking vast deserts, sprawling grasslands, deep forests, every river, every ocean, and yep, as you can see here, it even includes you. Your body is its own little environment, a habitat that's part of this planet-wide biosphere. So, if the biosphere is the where, let's talk about the what. We're moving on to the incredible variety of life itself that makes up this amazing web. And that variety has a name, biodiversity. Think of it as the richness of life in any given spot. And it's not spread out evenly. Biodiversity is way, way higher near the equator. So why there? Well, it's because the stable, warm weather supports a ton of plant life, which means there's a reliable, year-round food source for a huge number of different animals. So just how much variety are we talking about? Well, as of right now, scientists have named and identified about 2 million different species. That sounds like a lot, right? But that number, it's just a snapshot. Because, get this, every single year, biologists are still discovering over 10,000 new species. New kinds of insects, bizarre deep-sea fish. It just goes to show you, we are far from having a complete catalog of life on our own planet. But there's a really critical flip side to this coin. While we're finding thousands of new species, some estimates suggest we might be losing them even faster. We could be losing upwards of 50,000 species every year. It's a stark reminder that our planet's biodiversity is not just dynamic, it's also incredibly fragile. Okay, so we've got this vast, diverse, and fragile system of life. How on earth do we even begin to make sense of it all? Well, that is exactly where biology comes in. At its very core, biology isn't just about listing animals and plants. It's the study of life and, crucially, its interactions. Just think about a bee and a flower. The bee gets food, right? But while it's doing that, it carries pollen from one flower to another, helping the plant reproduce. It's that beautiful web of relationships that biologists are trying to figure out. And sometimes, studying these interactions completely changes how we see ourselves. For a long, long time, we thought making and using tools was what made humans special. But then, biologists saw chimps using sticks to hunt insects. And that one observation, it forced us to totally rethink our own place in the animal kingdom. This drive to understand life, it's not a new thing. It's a deeply human curiosity that goes all the way back to our earliest ancestors. Our knowledge has been built up bit by bit over thousands of years. It started with simple observations, like early humans painting detailed pictures of animals on cave walls. Then came the need to organize, with thinkers like Aristotle creating the very first systems to classify living things. The Renaissance kicked things into high gear, with Leonardo da Vinci's detailed anatomical drawings and Andreas Vesalius actually doing hands-on dissections, challenging old beliefs. But the real game changer? Technology. The invention of a microscope in the 1600s suddenly revealed a hidden, microscopic world and changed biology forever. And that whole history of discovery brings us to our final and maybe most important point. Scientific knowledge isn't set in stone. It's always evolving, always changing as we get new evidence.
A perfect example is the idea of spontaneous generation. For centuries, people honestly believed that life could just appear out of nowhere. That maggots were just created by rotting meat. But now we have cell theory, the understanding that all life comes from other, pre-existing life. So what happened? How did we make that huge leap? Evidence happened. In 1859, Louis Pasteur did this absolutely brilliant experiment with these special swan neck flasks. He showed that a broth would only go bad and grow microbes if dust and germs from the air could get into it. If the flask's bent neck trapped those airborne particles, the broth stayed perfectly clear. He proved, once and for all, that life doesn't just poof into existence. It has to come from somewhere.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Our understanding of the world is always shaped by the tools we have to look at it. From the first cave paintings to the microscope, to the powerful gene sequencing machines we have today, what we know is a direct result of what we can see and measure. So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. Thinking about everything we've talked about, from life in boiling acid to the way technology shapes our knowledge, what discoveries are waiting for us just around the corner? What ideas about life that we take for granted today might seem as strange to our grandkids as spontaneous generation seems to us now? Thanks for joining The Explainer.